My beloved one, do you feel it? That subtle tremor beneath the surface of your days, like the earth stirring after a long freeze. Like something ancient and dormant beginning to wake. The air tastes different this morning, sharper, charged with possibility. You've been walking through winter so long, you forgot what thaw feels like. How ice cracks and gives way to the sound of water moving again over stones worn smooth by all that weight, all that waiting. Your wounds have been teaching you in the cold. Your scars have been speaking a language you're only now beginning to understand. And I'm here to tell you something that will shift everything you thought. You knew about where you've been and where you're going. This season of your life is about to change. Not gradually, not someday. Now, the pivot is here. The shift is coming. And my child, you need to get ready. There's a moment just before dawn when the darkness is deepest. When even the stars seem to hold their breath. You've been living in that moment for longer than you wanted, longer than felt fair, longer than you thought you could endure. But watch what happens next. The horizon doesn't explode into light, seeps. A thin line of gold threads through the black. Then another. Then the whole sky begins to blush with colors that have no names. That's where you are right now. In the seeping, in the threading. In the first blush of something you can't yet see fully, but can feel in your bones. The healing you've been praying for is beginning to knit itself into purpose you haven't recognized yet. The purpose is revealing destiny that's been waiting in the wings, patient as a seed under snow, ready to push through the moment conditions shift. Welcome to Holy Spark Soul. If you're here, you know what it means to walk through seasons that stretched longer than you planned. That pressed harder than you expected, that changed you in ways you're still discovering. This channel exists because shallow promises don't touch deep transformations. And today, we're stepping into the threshold, into the space between what was and what's coming, where God speaks not in cliches, but in the language of shift. We're exploring what it means when He says a season is ending, when healing converges with purpose, and purpose unveils destiny. If this is your first time here, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because we're building a space where transformation is honored as the sacred, messy, magnificent work it actually is. Let's start with the signs you've been missing. You thought they'd be dramatic. Burning bushes, parted seas, angels with scrolls. But child of my heart, I rarely work that way. The shift starts small. It starts with a loosening. That bitterness you've carried like a stone in your pocket. You reached for it yesterday and realized it felt lighter. That person who wounded you, their name came up, and for the first time in months, you didn't feel your chest tighten. That dream you buried because it hurt too much to hope, it flickered back to life in a conversation you almost didn't have. These aren't accidents. These are the first cracks in winter's grip. These are signs that healing is doing its work beneath the surface, preparing soil for purpose to take root. You've been asking me when things would change. You've been begging for breakthrough. But my beloved one, breakthrough doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens after preparation you didn't know was happening. Every tear you cried and the dark watered seeds I planted in secret. Every prayer you whispered when you had no strength left, softened ground that's been too hard for too long. Every day you chose to keep walking, even when you couldn't see the path. You were moving toward this. The shift. The pivot. The moment when everything you've been through suddenly makes sense because it was never about the pain. It was about what the pain was preparing you for. Think about Joseph. 17 years old when his brothers sell him into slavery, motivated by jealousy so thick it chokes out any fraternal love. He's trafficked to Egypt, sold to Potiphar, falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, thrown into prison for a crime he didn't commit. Years bleed into more years. He interprets dreams for the cupbearer and baker, and the cupbearer who's released forgets him for 2 more years. If you'd asked Joseph in that prison cell if his season was about to shift, what do you think he'd have said? But child of God, watch what I was doing. Every injustice was positioning him. Every betrayal was teaching him. Every lonely night was forging character that could handle what was coming. And when Pharaoh has a dream no one can interpret, suddenly the cupbearer remembers. Suddenly Joseph is pulled from the dungeon, cleaned up, brought before the most powerful man in the known world. And in one day, one conversation, one divine download of wisdom, Joseph goes from prisoner to second in command of an empire. The shift didn't happen slowly. It happened suddenly. But it could only happen suddenly because the preparation happened slowly. My child, that's what's been happening to you. This long season in the prison of your pain, in the Egypt of your exile, it wasn't wasted. It was forging you, and the healing you're beginning to feel. That's not relief. That's readiness. Because I'm about to pull you out of the dungeon and set you before Pharaoh. And you need to be ready to speak with wisdom you didn't know you had. To step into purpose that's been waiting for you to be strong enough to carry it. Or consider Job, sitting in ashes, scraping his sores with broken pottery, having lost everything: children, wealth, health, respect. His friends accuse him of hidden sin. His wife tells him to curse God and die. And he sits there wrestling with questions that have no easy answers, crying out for understanding, demanding an audience with me. The season stretches. The suffering compounds. And if you'd asked Job if his life was about to shift, he'd have laughed bitterly. But my beloved one, I was listening to every cry. I was present in every question. And when the shift came, when I finally spoke to Job out of the whirlwind, I didn't explain the suffering. I revealed myself. And that revelation became the healing. That encounter with my presence transformed Job's theology. His understanding, his entire framework for what it means to trust when you can't see, and then watch what happens. Job 7:42. The Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he prayed for his friends. And the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Twice as much. The shift didn't just restore. It multiplied. It elevated. It launched Job into a purpose he couldn't have walked in before the ashes. A destiny that required the depth he'd gained in the suffering. Child of my heart, your shift is coming with that same multiplication. What you lost in one season, I'm about to restore double in the next. But more than that, I'm about to show you why you had to go through what you went through. The purpose is going to make sense of the pain. Then there's the Israelites. 40 years in wilderness that should have taken 11 days. A whole generation dying in the desert because they wouldn't trust me. But watch the next generation. They've been shaped by the wilderness in ways their parents weren't. They've learned dependence. They've learned to follow the cloud by day and fire by night. They've learned that manna comes daily, that water comes from rocks that I provide in places that look like death. And when they finally stand on the edge of the Jordan, when they're about to cross into the land flowing with milk and honey, they're ready. The shift from wilderness to promise isn't just geographical. It's identity. It's moving from wandering to inheriting, from surviving to thriving. From questioning to possessing, my beloved one. You've been in the wilderness, and it's been hard. It's been longer than you wanted. But you've learned things there that you couldn't learn anywhere else. You've learned that I'm faithful even when nothing makes sense. You've learned that provision comes in unexpected forms. You've learned to hear my voice in the silence. And now I'm standing you at the edge of your Jordan. The promised land is on the other side. The shift from this season to the next is imminent. And everything you learned in the wilderness is about to become the foundation for everything you'll build in the promise. Let's go to the blueprint. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Every season has a start and an end. Winter doesn't last forever. Your season of pain, of waiting, of wondering if things would ever change, it has an expiration date. And child of God, you're approaching it. The time for mourning is yielding to the time for dancing. The time for tearing down is giving way to the time for building up. The time for silence is about to break open into the time for speaking. The shift is encoded into the rhythm of creation itself. And right now, the rhythm is changing. Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." Plans, not vague wishes. Not maybe if you're good enough possibilities. Plans, detailed, specific, designed with you in mind. And those plans include a future, which means what's behind you isn't all there is. And they include hope, which means the story isn't over. My beloved one, the shift you're about to experience is part of the plan. It's not random. It's not lucky. It's orchestrated. I've been moving pieces into place while you've been trying to survive. And now those pieces are about to click together in ways that will take your breath away. Isaiah 61:3 promises, "To grant to those who mourn in Zion, to give them a beautiful headdress instead of ashes, the oil of gladness instead of mourning, the garment of praise instead of a faint spirit, that they may be called oaks of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified." Beauty from ashes, not beauty instead of acknowledging the ashes. Beauty that rises from the ashes that's shaped by them, that couldn't exist without them. The healing I'm bringing doesn't erase what happened. It transforms it. It takes the worst thing and turns it into the doorway to your destiny. And child of my heart, that transformation is what marks the shift. When you can look at your scars and see stories, when you can touch your wounds and feel purpose, when you can speak your testimony and watch others find hope, that's when you know the season has turned. So how do you ready yourself for this pivot? You start by surrendering the scars to healing waters. You've been clutching them, protecting them, building identity around them. But my beloved one, you're not your wounds. You're not defined by what broke you. And the shift can't fully happen until you let me tend to the places you've been hiding, the fractures you've been managing on your own, the pain you've been too proud or too afraid to bring into the light. Healing isn't instant, but it's invitation. And every time you say yes to the healing, you're opening space for purpose to move in. Align your steps with purpose's quiet compass through intentional pauses. You've been running for so long, either away from pain or toward relief. But child of God, pause. Sit still. Ask me, what's the purpose in this? What am I learning? What am I becoming? Purpose isn't always loud. It's often a whisper, a nudge, a sense of rightness when you stop long enough to feel it. And when you align your daily choices with that quiet compass, when you say yes to the things that resonate with purpose and no to the distractions that don't, you're cooperating with the shift I'm orchestrating. Envision destiny as a tapestry woven from today's threads. You think destiny is some far-off moment, some grand unveiling where suddenly everything makes sense. But my beloved one, destiny is being woven right now. Every choice, every conversation, every small faithfulness, every time you choose hope over cynicism, love over bitterness, trust over control. These are the threads. And the shift you're about to experience is the moment when you step back and see the pattern for the first time. When all the disparate threads suddenly form an image you couldn't see while you were weaving. Your destiny isn't waiting for you somewhere else. It's being formed in you, through you, right here, right now. Here's what the shift is going to feel like. It's going to feel both terrifying and exhilarating, like standing on a cliff edge before you jump, like the moment before a first kiss, Like the inhale before you speak a truth that will change everything. There's risk in it, because shift means leaving something behind. Letting go of who you were to become who I'm calling you to be. Releasing the familiar pain for the unfamiliar promise. Stepping out of the boat even when you can't see the solid ground beneath the waves. But child of my heart, I'm in the shift. I'm the bridge between seasons, and I won't let you fall. You're going to look back on this moment, this message, this day, and recognize it as the marker, the before and after, the hinge point, and you'll tell people, that's when I knew. That's when everything started to change. Not because circumstances shifted overnight, though some will, but because something inside you shifted first. The healing you'd been desperate for finally took root. The purpose you'd been seeking finally came into focus. The destiny you'd been doubting finally felt possible. And once that internal shift happens, my beloved one, the external shift is inevitable. Reflecting on passages like this through a psychological lens can illuminate how ancient expressions of transition and triumph mirror our own inner dialogues, fostering resilience through honest expression. Yet, if these themes stirred deeper unrest, a conversation with a wise counselor might offer tailored clarity. But here's the word I'm sealing over you today. Get ready. Prepare your heart. Clear out the clutter. Make room for what's coming. Because I'm about to do something new, and it's going to require all of you, the healed parts and the healing parts, the certain parts and the trembling parts, the strong parts and the surrendered parts. The shift is here. The season is turning. And everything you've been through, every tear, every question, every moment you thought you couldn't survive, it was all preparing you for this. For the shift that merges healing with purpose, purpose with destiny, destiny with the fullness of who I created you to be. If this message resonates in your spirit like a bell struck in the quiet, if you feel the shift stirring in your bones, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your favorite scripture about seasons, transitions, or new beginnings. Share what you sense God is shifting in your life right now. Let this community witness the turning, celebrate the thaw, stand with you as you step into what's next. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Holy Spark Soul and turn on those notifications. We're here every week exploring the depths of God's work in the in-between spaces, the threshold moments where everything changes. I'd also encourage you to watch our deep dive into Psalm 109 next, where we explore how even our hardest prayers become pathways to transformation, my beloved one. Go from this place knowing the shift is here. Healing is converging with purpose. Purpose is unveiling destiny. And the God who has walked with you through winter is about to lead you into spring. Get ready. Open your hands. Lift your face to the light. The season is turning. And you, child of my heart, you're about to bloom in ways that will astonish even you. I'm with you. Every step, every shift, every moment when the old gives way to the new. I'm here, and I'm not finished with you yet. The best is just beginning. I'll see you in the next one.